Who were the real Robin Hoods? Well, that depends on what you mean by Robin Hood. If you're thinking of the legendary outlaw whose name is synonymous with heroism and fighting for the downtrodden, then you probably mean Robin Hood, the mythical character whose story has captured the popular imagination for centuries. But did such a person really exist? And if so, who were they? And were they really a hero or just another violent criminal? In this episode of Faker for Real, we'll meet the people who inspired the legend, the real outlaws who robbed from the rich and gave to the poor, or at least took from the rich and left the poor alone. The first name that pops into my head when I think of Robin Hood is, of course, Robin Hood himself. But as I said in a previous episode, there were many outlaws with that name, and none of them were the legendary Robin Hood. In fact, no one even knows for sure if Robin Hood was a man or a woman. The earliest written reference to Robin Hood is a 13th century ballad called A Jest of Robin Hood, in which he rescues a queen from a forest. And while the general consensus is that the original Robin Hood was an outlaw, the details surrounding his origins are murky at best. Some historians believe he may have been inspired by a real outlaw, but we don't know who that could be. And so our first real Robin Hood is actually a group of people, the outlaws of medieval England. These people lived between the 13th and 16th centuries and were led by men known as brothers. They lived in the Sherwood Forest, which we now know to be an area of about 500 square miles in Nottinghamshire, England. They made their money by robbing travelers, hunting deer, and stealing from local lords and abbots. And it's believed they had the support of some of the local people who may have even helped them hide in the forest. Next up is another legendary outlaw, this time from America's Old West. Like Robin Hood, Butch Cassidy's gang robbed trains and gave the money to the poor, or at least that's how his legend has grown over time. In reality, Cassidy was a train and stagecoach robber who operated in the western states of Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. He also wasn't above killing people, which isn't something the legendary Robin Hood would do. Another real-life Robin Hood who operated in the American Old West was the Sundance Kid, a.k.a. Harry Longbaugh. He, too, was an outlaw and criminal, but he also helped poor people whenever he could. For this reason, he's considered a folk hero by some. Then we have the most famous duo of outlaws in the world, Bonnie and Clyde. These two criminals robbed banks and gave the money to the poor, or at least that's what they wanted their victims to think. In reality, Bonnie and Clyde were cold-blooded killers who cared about only one thing, money. Now, there are many other real-life Robin Hoods out there, people who have robbed from the rich and given to the poor, or at least taken from the rich and left the poor alone. But these are just a few of my favorites. So the next time you hear someone say that someone else is a real-life Robin Hood, remember that it's only because they help poor people that doesn't make them a hero. There are plenty of people out there who take from the rich and give to the poor, but they do it for their own selfish reasons. Thanks for watching.